It's 9:40 p.m. Local time October 19th, 2025. Over the Paracel Islands in the South China Sea, the air hums with radar pings and the heavy thud of helicopter rotors. On the USS Ronald Reagan, sailors sprint down the steel corridors, boots pounding, alarms echoing through every deck. General quarters! General quarters! The carrier's massive radar dome turns east, tracking an unexpected burst of signals. Outside, the sea glows faintly under a humid sky. The multinational drill US, Japan, the Philippines, Australia was meant to show unity, not start a crisis. But now, a sudden flash cuts the horizon. One of China's massive Type 055 destroyers has fired wrong target, wrong coordinates. Seconds later, twin explosions tear through two Chinese militia boats nearby. The shockwave rattles windows on the Reagan's bridge. Confusion floods the radios. Chinese, English, static mixed with shouting. No one knows who's to blame. Every ship in range braces, waiting for the next move that could turn an accident into all-out war. The Paracel Islands look like specks on a chart, but control here touches energy, food, and the price of everything back home. Beneath these waters sit oil and gas fields. Above them, sea lanes that carry chips, fuel, and groceries. The USS Ronald Reagan and Allied ships aren't here just to wave flags. They're here to keep traffic moving and to show that international rules still apply. For Beijing, a U.S. carrier group 30 miles from its claimed islands is pressure turned to heat. Patrols tighten, fishing fleets double as militia, and every move becomes a message. Tonight's message arrived as fire. Whether the shot came from a jittery watch team, a sensor glitch, or a rushed local order, two Chinese militia boats are gone. Families will ask who is responsible. Governments will answer with careful words and hard edges. On the Reagan, the crew works the checklists. Air defense set, escorts fanned wide, radios stacked with hails in Mandarin and English. An E-2D Hawkeye orbits high to stitch the picture together. A Pate Amperes scours low for signs of mines or fast boats. Allied destroyers adjust bearings to plug gaps. This choreography matters because misreads happen fast at sea, and a false track can become a funeral. Markets are already twitching. Insurers are recalculating routes around the South China Sea. If this turns into a blockade or a tit-for-tat shootout, shelves get thinner and allies start doubting promises. The next call launch more jets, hold fire, or change course could decide whether dawn brings de-escalation or a chain of mistakes no one can stop. If you held the con right now, would you cool the fight or answer force with force? Tell us below. Press 1 to stand down or 9 to fire back. 21:52 local time. The night sky above the Paracels glows with silent lightning from distant storms. On the USS Ronald Reagan, the Combat Information Center is packed, screens lit, voices tight. Multiple fast contacts inbound, bearing 090. The words cut through the hum of machines. No one knows if these are rescue boats, militia, or something worse. The commander doesn't wait. Set condition 1. All stations, stand by to engage. Aboard the destroyer USS Mustin, escorts pivot outward, forming a wall ahead of the carrier. Within seconds, the first Standard missiles roar skyward SM-2, each one streaking like a comet toward the radar echoes. Over radio, Japanese and Australian ships confirm their locks. The Philippine frigate Antonio Luna moves to the flank, launching decoys to confuse incoming threats. Every flash on the radar could be the start of a new war, or just another ghost. An E-2D Hawkeye feeds updates from above. Tracks splitting 2 high, 3 low, closing fast. The picture sharpens, a mix of drones and small attack boats racing toward the exercise area. The crew moves like clockwork, guns loading, sensors aligning. A wall of 5-inch fire lights the water. Each shell slams down in a spray of steam and metal. The boats vanish, but new blips replace them instantly. One explosion flashes miles away. Something hit, but no one knows what. The air smells of fuel and salt. Reagan, this is Mustin. Contact neutralized. Stand by, more inbound. Voices stay calm, but tension rides every syllable. The commander glances at the tactical display, so many returns. So close. Launch alert fighters, he orders. The deck crew moves before he finishes. Catapults arm, engines scream. 2F divided by A, 18 claw into the dark sky. Afterburners carving twin blue lines above the carrier, every eye follows them upward. Nobody says it aloud, but everyone knows. If those jets cross the wrong line tonight, the next move won't be an exercise, it'll be history. Rules of engagement, visual ID, required if within territorial claim lines, the air boss reminds. The Hawkeye vectors the Hornets to the low tracks. Far below, a JMSDF destroyer fires star shells. White light washes the chop, revealing wakes that cut toward the screen of escorts. On Mustin, the 25mm mounts traverse, green tracer stitching the dark. A fast boat jolts, then disappears in foam. Electronic warfare teams flood the air with noise. Drones wobble as their links degrade. One tumbles into the sea like a broken kite. A Paint Amperes calls surface clutter off a reef. What looked like 2 more boats is just surf and scattered debris. The commander logs it, jaw tight. Ghosts cost ammo and time. Contact, right? 20 degrees. A small quadcopter pops over the bow of an Allied frigate. Lights off, camera staring. The frigate's CIWS barks. The drone shreds into sparks that hiss out on the wind. For a breath, the radios fall quiet. Then the Hawkeye again. New group bearing 085, speed 40 plus. The screen fills with teeth. Hold the carrier steady. Escorts, shift fire sectors. Hornets, you're cleared hot on low movers outside 2 to 0 miles. The formation tightens into a shield. Water glows with burning magnesium as more flares arc down. The first engagement has bought minutes, nothing more. The next wave is already on the way. 22:06 local time. The calm between waves lasts less than 5 minutes. Then the radar wall lights again, thicker, faster, closer. Multiple groups inbound, bearing 085 to 110, range 20 miles. The operations room locks into motion. Every display floods red. The second wave is here. On Mustin, the crew reloads VLS cells at record speed, sweat dripping under red lights. We're low on SM2, someone mutters. Then make every shot count. The next salvo slams out bright tails punching into the dark. Each intercept by seconds. The sea turns alive with fire and static. Far south, the Japanese destroyer Kirishima locks onto a swarm of suicide drones, skimming barely above the surface. The first burst miss. The next hits 2, vaporizing them into white plumes. The rest keep coming. One fast boat breaks through the outer screen, slicing toward the Reagan's port bow. CIWS batteries swivel. The sound becomes a roar of metal. Sparks shower. When the smoke clears, nothing remains but debris. Electronic jamming thickens. Chinese shore-based radars flood the sky with noise. The Reagan sensors flicker half-blind now. Switch to optical tracking, the commander orders. Camera feeds replace radar lines. Sailors call ranges by eye a fight that feels like the 1940 wrapped in modern tech. A near miss rocks the Antonio Luna. Debris rains down, scarring the deck. The crew shouts but stays on guns. Fear becomes focus. Each second, another decision shoot. Hold, reposition. The line bends, but it hasn't broken. Inside the Reagan CIC, a new tone cuts through. The E2D alert. Inbound speed increasing. Mach 0.8. Possible missile launch. The commander looks up. All ships, brace for impact. For a heartbeat, the world freezes. Then flares ignite the horizon. Flares, chaff, interceptors, an orchestra of chaos. Some threats vanish in light. Others keep burning through. The crew grips their stations, waiting for the next hit. No one talks about retreat. Every radar pulse feels like another coin tossed between peace and escalation. If you were standing on that deck, would you hold the line or fire everything to end it? Tell us below. Press 1 to hold or 9 to strike back. 22:18 local time. The storm has shifted east, but the fight isn't done. The radar picture looks cleaner now, too clean. All tracks faded, reports the sensor chief. Could be jamming drop-off, another voice says, or something worse. Seconds later, the E2D Hawkeye's operator gasps. New contacts bearing 073, altitude 30 feet, range 15 miles, speed 300 knots. Everyone freezes. These aren't drones or boats. They're new, low, fast, and nearly invisible to radar. The commander frowns. That's not surface clutter. Those are sea-skimming missiles. Panic flickers for a breath, then discipline snaps back. All ships, defensive posture, Charlie. Activate RAM and CRAM. Across the task group, hatches open and launchers swivel. The first missile launches a white streak tearing from the deck into the horizon. Seconds later, a second, then a third. The air becomes a blur of streaking fire and contrails. The sea glows as explosions ripple across the surface, shockwaves pounding the hull. 2 incoming warheads detonate early, but one slips through, skimming barely above the waterline. It veers at the last second, clipping the wake of Kirishima. The blast hammers the destroyer's stern, throwing men to the deck. Damage control moves instantly. Smoke, fire, shouts in Japanese and English mixing over the comms. Reagan, this is Kirishima. We've taken a hit, steering offline, casualties unknown. Silence follows. The commander on Reagan tightens his grip on the console. Keep her afloat. We'll cover you. As alarms blare again, a new question cuts through the fear. If China has just fired live weapons, is this still an accident or the start of open war? 22:26 local time. Smoke still curls off Kirishima's stern as fire crews battle the blaze. The task group tightens formation. The sea between ships now glows orange from burning fuel. Incoming again, multiple low tracks. The warning cuts through every deck. There's no time left for orders. Everyone already knows what to do. On the Ronald Reagan, the flight deck becomes chaos. Jets roar as they launch into black sky, each one carrying live ordnance now. The air smells of jet fuel and fear. A petty officer yells over the comms, "CIWS hot, Sector 3!" Gun turrets rotate, barrels vibrating. Seconds later, the horizon flashes. A missile streaks straight toward the carrier. The ship lurches as chaff bursts overhead, filling the sky with glittering clouds. The missile dives through, lost, then reappears too close. The forward CRAM fires, spitting a chain of glowing dots. The intercept hits just 50 meters off the bow, shockwaves slamming against the hull like a hammer. The deck crew hits the ground, ears ringing. The carrier survives, barely. To starboard, Antonio Luna turns hard, intercepting a second inbound with its 76mm gun. The flash blinds its own gunners, but the target vanishes in a bloom of fire. "Good hit!" echoes through the channel. Nearby, the destroyer Mustin launches its last 2 SM-2, then switches to guns. The sea becomes a furnace, water boiling where rounds hit. Above it all, 2 Hornets dive through tracer fire, dropping flares and countermeasures as they strafe the approach line. Their pilots see the chaos below, tiny ships locked in survival against a wall of flame. "This is Eagle 1, Splash 2 drones," a voice calls. Still, multiple tracks inbound. A final flash fills the night. For an instant, everything freezes, then the sound catches up. A rolling thunder that shakes steel and bone alike. In the command center, the commander exhales for the first time in minutes. "Cease fire. Damage reports. Stay alert, we're not out yet." Around him, sailors exchange exhausted glances. They're alive, for now, but everyone senses the truth. This was only the beginning. If you were watching this unfold in real time, heart pounding with each hit, would you choose restraint or strike before they do again? Tell us below. Press 1 to hold back or 9 to hit first. 23:04 local time. The ocean is quiet again, but not calm. Wreckage drifts through black water, twisted metal, burnt foam, pieces of what was once a fleet's outer guard. The smell of smoke still hangs in the air. Aboard the Ronald Reagan, sailors move slowly, checking damage, helping the wounded. Some stare at the horizon, waiting for another radar tone that doesn't come. Reactor stable. Flight ops suspended, communications holding. The reports sound routine, but the faces behind them are not. No one celebrates. The task group has survived the night, but barely. Far across the sea, Chinese broadcasts call it a defensive response. US and allied statements urge restraint, each side pretending to control what is already spun past control. Search and rescue teams scour the area for survivors from the destroyed militia boats, though few believe they'll find many. Every government wants time to verify, to blame, to prepare. On the bridge, the commander of the Reagan stands silent, staring at the flicker of flames still burning on the horizon. "No one wins from this," he murmurs. The communications officer nods but says nothing. They both know what comes next. Investigations, political spin, and more ships moving in. Hours later, dawn breaks over the South China Sea. Smoke drifts low, painting the sky in gray and orange. The ocean looks peaceful again, but the illusion fools no one. Every sailor knows the truth. Peace isn't restored. It's only paused. In Washington, analysts debate if the incident was human error or the first spark of something larger. In Beijing, officials demand accountability. Around the world, markets tremble, allies whisper, and generals quietly review contingency plans. Tonight, the Ronald Reagan stayed afloat. And freedom of navigation still stands, but at a cost measured not in ships, but in seconds before the next mistake. If you believe this standoff will cool down, press 1. If you think the next wave is inevitable, press 9 and stay with us to see how the world reacts next. It's 10:42 a.m. on the 7th of October 2025. Over the South China Sea near the Spratly Islands, alarms erupt aboard USS Ronald Reagan. A fire control radar warning flashes red. Someone has painted the carrier. Sailors sprint to battle stations, boots pounding steel. USS Ralph Johnson slides forward to shield the flat top. On the horizon, a Chinese-type 54 amperes frigate glints. Antennas hot. Radio crackles. Unidentified vessel, you are entering Chinese waters. The reply stays calm. Negative. International waters. Dual tones overlap. Screens bloom with tracks. EA. 18G Growler spool for launch. The ship turns into the wind. Catapults hiss. No shots yet, but the fight has already begun. Phalanx crews stand by, safety's off, as the bridge watches bearing and range tick down. A calm voice reads rules of engagement, line by line. Another contact pops near Fiery Cross Reef. A cutter weaves across the bow. The carrier group holds course. Across the net, one message repeats. Stand down and clear the lane. The lock stays. The South China Sea isn't just a stretch of blue, it's the artery of global trade. 1/3 of the world's goods pass through these waters every year. Fuel, food, and microchips all ride this highway. If it closes, prices rise, factories slow, and nations stumble. That's why the USS Ronald Reagan sails here, not to provoke, but to keep that artery open. Across the waves, Beijing's Southern Fleet sees things differently. To them, every reef is territory, every patrol a test of will. Their message is clear. This is ours. For Washington, accepting that message means rewriting decades of international law without a single vote cast. From the carrier's bridge, the horizon looks endless, but the margin for error is razor thin. A wrong turn, a radar misread, and diplomacy burns before lunch. The captain knows this isn't a movie. Once missiles fly, no one controls how it ends. In the Combat Information Center, sailors track dozens of moving dots, cargo ships, patrol craft, shadows pretending to be fishing boats. Each blip could be harmless or bait. Over encrypted comms, voices from Manila, Tokyo check in. Allies are watching if the US backs down now. The signal is global. Outside, the growlers on deck are armed but silent. Non-kinetic warfare radar jamming, counterlocking buys seconds, maybe peace. The ocean hums under tension, like breath held too long. No one speaks, but the question hangs in the air between two great powers. Who blinks first? If you were in command right now, would you hold your ground or pull back before the spark catches? Press 1 to stand firm, or 9 to ease the pressure and let the sea calm itself. 10:47 a.m., 5 minutes after the radar lock. The sea glitters calm, but the formation around the USS Ronald Reagan is already in motion. USS Ralph Johnson pushes forward. USS Dewey veers portside. USS Shiloh takes the outer flank. Aegis radar locked on target. The carrier steadies into the wind. deck buzzing with restrained energy. Inside the Combat Information Center, displays bloom with new returns, 2 small surface contacts closing fast. Their pattern is too clean for fishing boats. The Pate Ampere's Poseidon circling high confirms. Militia vessels, unarmed but coordinated. Someone's testing nerve, not weapons. Range 2,000 yards, the sensor officer reports. The radar tone sharpens another. Type 54. Ampere's frigate sliding in from the west. The captain's eyes narrow. Growlers, light 'em up. Defensive jamming only. On deck, 2 EA-18G Growlers scream into the sky, leaving trails of heat. Seconds later, invisible waves of electronic noise flood the air. On the Chinese frigate, radar screens flicker, false echoes scatter. The lock wavers but doesn't break. A silent duel, frequencies against frequencies, patience against pressure. Below decks, sailors brace as Ralph Johnson accelerates, cutting through the glare. The Mk-45 gun slews to starboard, not firing, just showing readiness. "Do not cross our bow," the radio call repeats, clear and cold. Out ahead, the militia boats ignore it. One swerves sharply, crossing Ralph Johnson's path at full speed. Sirens blare. Spray lashes the deck. The destroyer holds course, slicing past within 200 yards, close enough for saltwater to hit the bridge windows. The crew doesn't flinch. For a few long seconds, both fleets hold still. No one fires. No one retreats. The air itself hums with tension. Then, on the scopes, the Chinese frigate's radar flickers again, a tighter beam, stronger signal. Their lock is back. A low buzz rolls through the carrier deck as flight ops reset. Shiloh reports clear firing lanes. Dewey tightens the defensive ring. Over Fiery Cross Reef, the Poseidon spots a cutter shadowing the formation, broadcasting coded bursts. Helm holds 20 knots. In CIC, someone starts a timer 5 minutes to see who blinks first. No one speaks. Every heartbeat feels like the edge of something irreversible. The next sound could be static or gunfire. 10:52 a.m. The standoff stretches past the 5-minute mark. The sun blazes high, glinting off gray hulls locked in place. The USS Ronald Reagan keeps steady, engines humming at low thrust, while the Chinese Type 54 Amperes holds her beam on a duel of nerves measured in degrees and seconds. In the Combat Information Center, the air feels heavy. "Target reacquired," someone whispers. On the main display, the Chinese radar lock pulses stronger than before. Tighter beam, faster sweep. They've shifted to active tracking. The captain leans forward, voice calm but clipped. Electronic countermeasures. Pattern Delta. Let's blind them again. The EA-18G Growlers sweep back over the horizon. Their pods hum, sending torrents of noise into the ether. On the enemy scopes, phantom ships multiply a digital fog, swallowing truth and distance. But the other side adapts fast. A second radar source lights up from Mischief Reef, extending range. It's not just one frigate anymore. The net is closing. USS Shiloh angles outward, positioning for missile defense. Ralph Johnson maintains point, her crew already sweating under fire. Retardant suits. "Stay locked, stay disciplined," the XO reminds. Every maneuver now could be seen as aggression or weakness. The Poseidon above relays fresh data. A Haijing 5402 cutter is moving in parallel, trying to wedge between the destroyers. The bridge calculates distances, updates risk zones, and adjusts course by half a degree, just enough to deny the cut. Outside, the sea churns with prop wash and tension. The phalanx CIWS rotates to ready angle, safety's off but fingers steady. This isn't combat, not yet. It's chess with radar beams instead of bullets. Every move says, "I see you, I'm ready if you move." Through the comnet, both languages echo, layered and sharp. The Chinese captain repeats his warning. The American skipper answers once, evenly. Freedom of navigation, continuing transit. The words hang like steel in salt air. Somewhere between static and silence, a truth settles and neither side can back down without losing more than pride. It's strategy, politics, and ego colliding on open water. If you were in that command seat, watching the lock tighten and the horizon shrink, what would you do? Press 1 to hold the line and stare them down, or 9 to pull away before words turn into war. 11:03 a.m. Just when the standoff seems to settle, something new cuts through the static. On radar, faint blips appear, small, fast, skimming low across the waves. Not ships, not planes. Drones, launched from near Mischief Reef. The Paint Ampere's Poseidon confirms 6 unknown contacts, each no larger than a jet ski, closing fast. Low altitude, low radar signature built to confuse. The captain exhales. They're testing us again, or worse. Below decks, tension tightens. CIWS tracking active. A tech calls out. Ralph Johnson adjusts course, guns following the nearest target. The drones split formation, weaving through clutter like sparks across water, deliberate, provocative. Permission to engage? The XO asks. The captain shakes his head. Not yet. They haven't fired. The hardest order to wait, when your screen looks like a storm about to break. On USS Shiloh, sailors watch as one drone rises, leveling toward the bow. The phalanx rotates, sensors chirping, tracking. The system holds steady, waiting for proof of intent the rules demand. Growlers, shift frequency, the captain orders. The jets arc wide, flooding the band with static. For a heartbeat, the tracks vanish, then reappear, closer, smarter. The drones hop signals, shifting from radio to optical. It's not a test anymore, the captain mutters. They're learning. He traces a finger on the chart, tighten spacing, deny them angles. In the CIC, the hum builds fans, scopes, breath. A petty officer reads ranges, another calls bearings. Everyone feels the line between caution and conflict thinning fast. One bad read, one nervous squeeze, and the South China Sea burns. 11:06 a.m. No one blinks. Spray ghosts off the bow, sunlight flares on steel, and the next 3 minutes will decide who holds the air and who writes what comes next. 11:08 a.m. alarms erupt across the USS Ralph Johnson. The incoming drones break formation, diving low between the destroyers. Sunlight glints off their carbon shells as they skim through spray. Multiple inbound bearings, 085, the radar tech shouts. Track visually, the captain commands. The phalanx CIWS spins up, barrels glowing, its metallic hum cutting through the chaos. The first drone vanishes from radar at 900 yards, then bursts from the haze too close. The gun fires, a torrent of light and metal. Water erupts, and the drone disappears in flame. Splash one, the gunnery chief calls. A short cheer dies as another target appears. Faster, lower. Sizz cooling, someone yells. USS Dewey launches chaff and flares that scatter across the waves like falling sparks. Sensors flicker, half blind. Above, EA-18G growlers roar through the formation, flooding the air with static. On the Chinese scopes, the US fleet dissolves into false echoes, but another radar beam pierces through a hard lock from the type 54 Amperes. They've reacquired the Reagan. Intercept immediately, the captain orders. Ralph Johnson pivots hard, carving white arcs through the sea. Her Mach 45 gun fires 3 bursts. The second drone detonates mid-air, fragments raining down like molten rain. For a moment, silence. Then one last blip appears, larger, slower, hovering near the edge of range. Possible control node, the XO reports. The captain hesitates. Hold fire. A breath later, the signal fades. Whoever launched them just stepped back. On deck, sailors lower weapons, sweat cutting lines through soot. The Reagan steadies course. Allied channels confirm Chinese ships turning south, leaving the area. Relief ripples through the fleet, but no one cheers. This was a battle won without a war. A message written in noise and restraint. The sea is calm again, but tension hums beneath the silence. The captain stares east, light burning off the horizon. That's it? A sailor asks. For now, he replies. If you were standing on that bridge, would you have fired or held steady and trusted control? Press 1 to strike first, or 9 to stay the course and keep the peace. 11:40 a.m. The battle is over, but the adrenaline refuses to fade. The sea lies flat again, a mirror hiding the chaos beneath. Smoke drifts off the carrier's deck as crewmen hose down metal still hot from tension. Radios click with clipped reports. All contacts clear. Area secure. Across the formation, sailors lean against bulkheads, their hands trembling just slightly. No casualties, no hits, but everyone knows how close it was. A few more seconds of misread intent, and the South China Sea could have turned red. From above, satellite feeds confirm it. The Chinese flotilla retreating south, their radars cold. Within hours, Washington will call it a victory for freedom of navigation. Beijing will call it an exercise in restraint. Both will claim control of the story, but only those on deck know how thin the truth really felt. The USS Ronald Reagan continues north, engines steady, decks scattered with shell casings and silence. The EA-18G Growlers land one by one, their wings folding like tired birds. Every return is a reminder victory isn't always loud. Sometimes it sounds like static fading to quiet. In the Combat Information Center, the captain signs the final report. He pauses at the last line. Engagement ended without fire exchange beyond drones. His pen hovers. Then he adds one more note. No shots. Message delivered. Far away, news headlines already spin the event. Analysts talk of deterrence, of resolve, of a turning tide in the Pacific. But none of them mention the faces in that control room, the calm voices holding the line against fear. Outside, the ocean glows gold under the noon sunday. It looks peaceful, but everyone aboard knows it's only sleeping. Somewhere beyond the horizon, new orders will come, and the cycle will begin again. If you were watching from that deck, would you call it victory or just survival? Press 1 if you believe the US held the line with strength, or 9 if you think both sides only delayed the inevitable.